In the depths of your consciousness lies a power so magnificent, so absolute, that once you truly grasp it and apply it correctly, you will never again find yourself struggling against the current of life. Rather, you will move through existence as naturally as a fish moves through water, as effortlessly as a bird soars through the sky. The first principle you must understand is this: the outer world is nothing more than a reflection, a shadow, a projection of your inner world. As within, so without is not merely a philosophical concept, but an absolute law of being. What you hold in consciousness, with feeling and conviction, must objectify itself in your world. It cannot do otherwise, for that is the law of your being. Now, why must you do this without telling anyone? Let me explain this critical point. When you speak of your desires, your intentions, your wishes to others before they have been realized in your consciousness as accomplished facts, you dissipate the energy required for their manifestation. You release the pressure, so to speak, that would otherwise build and propel your desire into expression. Remember the words from Scripture, "Go and tell no man." This is not merely ethical advice, it is a profound metaphysical instruction. The creative power within you works most effectively in silence in the secret place of the Most High, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Let us delve deeper into the nature of this principle, the power of silence. Most people, upon conceiving a desire or setting a goal, immediately broadcast it to the world. They tell their friends, their family, their colleagues, and in doing so they experience a momentary satisfaction, a false sense of accomplishment. They receive acknowledgement, perhaps even praise or encouragement, and this premature recognition tricks the subconscious mind into believing that the thing is already done, that the desire has already been fulfilled. But what has really happened? Nothing has changed in their world. The desire remains unfulfilled. The goal remains unachieved. All that has occurred is a dissipation of the creative energy that would have, if properly directed and contained, brought the desire into manifestation. When you tell others of your intentions, you also expose your nascent creation to the doubts, criticisms, and limiting beliefs of others. Your desire, still fragile in its conceptual state, may not withstand the onslaught of collective disbelief. It may wither and die before it has had the chance to take root in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Consider the wisdom in the story of Mary, who kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. She did not rush to announce the miraculous conception, but held it sacred within her consciousness until it was ready to be born into the world. So I say to you, hold your desires sacred. Nurture them in the silence of your consciousness. Tell no one until they have been realized in your world. This is the first step in allowing doors to open without effort. The art of assumption. Now, what is it that you must do in silence without telling anyone? You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances improve or when others approve, but now. The secret is to identify the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already realized, and then to assume that feeling so completely that it displaces your present state. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful fantasizing. This is a deliberate, conscious shift in your state of being. If you desire wealth, you must assume the feeling of wealth now. How would you feel if you were financially abundant? What would your inner conversations be like? How would you walk, talk, and interact with others? Assume these feelings and behaviors now, not as a pretense, but as an acknowledgement of a truth that exists in a dimension not yet visible to your physical senses. If you desire a loving relationship, you must assume the feeling of being loved now. Feel the warmth, the security, the joy that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Let this feeling permeate your consciousness until it becomes your predominant state. If you desire health, assume the feeling of vitality and well-being now. Feel the energy coursing through your body, the effortless movement, the absence of pain or limitation. Live from this state and watch as your physical condition aligns with your inner assumption. Remember, what you are seeking is also seeking you. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, a series of events is set in motion that will bring about the realization of your desire. Doors will open that you did not know existed. Opportunities will present themselves that you could not have anticipated. People will enter your life bearing gifts that precisely match your inner state. And all this will occur without effort, without struggle, without the need for you to manipulate external circumstances. For when you change your inner state, the outer world must change to reflect it. This is law, the renunciation of effort. We come now to a paradox that confounds the logical mind, but is perfectly clear to the awakened consciousness, the renunciation of effort, the pathway to effortless achievement. Most people believe that success requires struggle, that achievement demands sacrifice, that goals must be pursued with relentless determination. They push, they strive, they force, they manipulate. And in doing so, they create resistance both within themselves and in their external circumstance. But I tell you this, true achievement, lasting success, genuine fulfillment comes not through effort, but through alignment. When you align your consciousness with the state of having already achieved your desire, the path to its physical manifestation clears before you. The doors that seemed locked and barred swing open of their own accord. The mountains that loomed insurmountable simply vanish from your path. This is not laziness or passivity. It is the highest form of action from the state of being rather than from the state of wanting. When you act from the conviction that your desire is already fulfilled, your actions are inspired, effortless, and precisely calibrated to bring about the results you seek. Consider how effortlessly you perform the actions associated with states you have fully assumed. If you know yourself to be literate, you do not agonize over whether you can read the words on a page. You simply read them. If you know yourself to be a skilled driver, you do not doubt your ability to navigate the roads. You simply drive. The actions flow naturally from your state of being. So it is with all things. When you fully assume the state of having what you desire, the actions required for its manifestation flow naturally and effortlessly from you. You find yourself saying the right words, making the right choices, taking the right steps, not through calculated effort, but through the natural expression of your assumed state. The living in the end. Now let me share with you the practical technique that will enable you to apply this principle effectively in your life. I call it living in the end. To live in the end means to occupy in imagination the state of your wish fulfilled, and to dwell there as though it were your present reality. It means to view the world not from where you are now, but from where you desire to be. Each night as you lay your head upon your pillow and enter the state akin to sleep, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid as possible. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Involve all your senses in this imaginative act. If your desire is for a promotion at work, you might imagine a colleague congratulating you on your new position. Feel the handshake, hear the words of congratulation, see the smile on their face. Feel the satisfaction and accomplishment that would be yours in that moment. If your desire is for a harmonious relationship, imagine a scene where you and your beloved are together in perfect understanding and joy. Feel the love between you, the mutual respect, the deep connection. Hear the words that would be spoken in such a moment of harmony. If your desire is for physical health, imagine a scene where you are engaged in an activity that your current condition prevents. Feel the ease of movement, the vitality, the absolute freedom from limitation or discomfort. As you fall asleep, immersed in this scene, you impress it upon your subconscious mind, which accepts it as reality and begins to work ceaselessly to bring it into physical expression. For your subconscious does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you experience in the external world. To it, the two are identical. Practice this technique night after night, and you will begin to notice subtle changes in your waking experience. It may begin with a change in your own attitudes and perceptions. You may find yourself responding differently to familiar situations. You may notice new ideas occurring to you, new impulses guiding your actions. Eventually, these inner changes will externalize themselves in the form of new circumstances, new relationships, new opportunities that align with your imagined state. And all of this will occur without strain, without struggle, without anxious concern on your part. It will feel as natural as the changing of seasons, as effortless as the rising of the sun. But remember, tell no one of what you are doing. Keep this practice sacred and secret. For in silence, your imaginative power grows. In privacy, your assumption gathers strength. In the absence of external validation or criticism, your imagined state takes root in the depths of your being and begins to grow into tangible reality. The abandonment of the old. For this process to work most effectively, you must be willing to abandon your old concept of self, your old way of relating to the world. You cannot cling to your current identity while simultaneously trying to assume a new state of being. The two are incompatible. If you have known yourself as lacking, as struggling, as unworthy, these concepts must be released to make way for your new assumption. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot stand with one foot in your present state and the other in your desired state. You must make a complete commitment to the state you wish to embody. This requires courage. It requires faith. It requires a willingness to die to your old self, that your new self might be born. For make no mistake, this is a form of death, and rebirth, the only death and rebirth that truly matters in your journey through this world. The scripture says, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. Your old concept of self must die, must be completely abandoned, that your new concept might bear fruit in your experience. How do you abandon the old self? By withdrawing your attention from it, by refusing to identify with its limitations, its fears, its sense of lack, by redirecting your attention completely and persistently to your new concept of self until the old concept atrophies from disuse and falls away naturally. This is not denial or repression. It is transformation through the redirection of consciousness. It is the highest form of psychological and spiritual alchemy, the transmutation of lead into gold, of limitation into freedom, of separateness into unity, the persistence in assumption. Now, I must caution you, this process is not necessarily instantaneous. While some desires manifest quickly, others require a longer gestation period. The time it takes for your assumption to externalize itself depends on many factors, including the naturalness of your desire relative to your current state, the intensity of your assumption, and the degree to which you remain faithful to your new concept of self. What is required above all is persistence in your assumption. You must continue to live from the end to occupy your imagined state, regardless of appearances. You must not be discouraged or dissuaded by the evidence of your senses, which may for a time continue to reflect your previous state rather than your new assumption. Remember, the physical world is a shadow, a delayed reflection of your consciousness. It will catch up to your new state, but it may do so gradually in its own time and in its own way. Your part is simply to maintain your assumption, to continue living from the end with absolute faith that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify self in your world. This persistence is not a form of effort or struggle. It is not about forcing yourself to believe what your senses deny. It is simply a matter of choosing moment by moment which reality you will occupy in consciousness, the reality of your former state or the reality of your wish fulfilled. When doubts arise, as they inevitably will, do not fight them. Simply observe them without judgment, and then gently return your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, acknowledge them without allowing them to dislodge you from your chosen state. Say to yourself, this may be the case in the shadow world of physical appearances, but in the reality of my consciousness, my desire is already fulfilled. In time, with persistence, your assumption will harden into fact. What you have consciously assumed, you will objectively experience. And you will recognize that it was not your anxious striving, but your faithful assumption that brought your desire to fruition. The inner conversations. Pay particular attention to your inner conversations, for they are perhaps the most potent form of assumption. The words you speak to yourself in the privacy of your mind shape your reality more powerfully than any external action you might take. If you truly wish to assume a new state of being, you must revise your inner dialogue to reflect that state. If, for example, you wish to embody financial abundance, your inner conversations must be those of a financially abundant person, not those of someone struggling with lack or limitation. Listen to the words you speak silently to yourself throughout the day. Are they consistent with your desired state? Or do they betray a continued identification with the state you wish to transcend? If you find that your inner conversations contradict your conscious intention, do not become discouraged. Simply revise them. Construct new inner dialogues that imply the fulfillment of your desire, and rehearse them until they become your habitual way of thinking. For instance, instead of saying to yourself, "I can't afford this," say, "I am so grateful that I can easily afford everything I desire." Instead of telling yourself, "This situation is impossible," say, "I am so grateful that this situation has been resolved harmoniously." Instead of thinking, "I am always overlooked for promotion," think, "I am so appreciated for my contributions, and I am naturally advancing in my career." Make these new inner conversations your constant companions, and you will be amazed at how quickly your external circumstances begin to align with them. For your inner conversations are not merely reactions to your circumstances, they are the very creators of those circumstances. The gratitude in advance. Another powerful practice that will accelerate the manifestation of your desires is gratitude, not gratitude for what you have already received, but gratitude for what you have claimed in consciousness but is not yet visible to your physical senses. When you give thanks in advance for the fulfillment of your desire, you affirm your firm in the creative process. You acknowledge that the thing is already yours in consciousness, and you express appreciation for its inevitable externalization in your physical experience. This form of gratitude is not a manipulative technique to cajole the universe into giving you what you want. It is a genuine expression of your understanding of the law of consciousness. You are grateful not because you hope to receive, but because you know that in consciousness you have already received. Begin and end each day with this expression of gratitude. Say to yourself with deep feeling, "Thank you, Father, that this already done." Feel the reality of your desire as a present fact, and give thanks for it just as you would for something that is already manifest in your world. This practice of gratitude aligns you more fully with the state of having already received, and it accelerates the bridge of incidents that leads to the physical realization of your desire. It is a declaration of your faith in the law and your acceptance of the gift you have given yourself through the power of your consciousness. The revision of the past. Now there is another aspect of this practice that is often overlooked but is enormously powerful. The revision of the past. Your present circumstances are the result of your past thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. But just as you can change your future by changing your present consciousness, you can also change the effects of your past by revising your memory of it. If your past contains experiences of failure, rejection, or disappointment that still affect your self-concept, and therefore your present circumstances, you can revise those experiences in imagination. You can rewrite the script, so to speak, creating new memories that align with your desired state of being. For example, if you're passed over a promotion in the past, and this experience still affects your confidence and your expectations regarding your career, you can revise it. In your imagination, go back to that moment and experience it differently. See yourself receiving the promotion, hear the words of congratulation, feel the satisfaction and validation. If you experience the end of a relationship that left you feeling unlovable or unworthy, revise it. In your imagination, experience a harmonious resolution, a mutual recognition that allows both parties to move forward with respect and goodwill. As you practice this technique of revision, you will find that the emotional charge associated with painful past events begins to dissolve. The past no longer determines your present state of consciousness, and therefore it loses its power to shape your future experiences. Remember, time is a construct of consciousness. The only reality is the eternal now, the present moment, in which all possibilities exist simultaneously. by revising the past in imagination. You are not denying what occurred in the world of shadows. You are exercising your divine prerogative to choose which version of reality you will accept as definitive. The recognition of unity. As you practice these principles, you will begin to recognize a profound truth that underlies all of creation, the unity of being. You will come to understand that there is no separation between you and the source of all that is, no distance between your consciousness and the creative power that shapes worlds. The Bible tells us, I and my Father are one. This is not a poetic metaphor, but a statement of absolute metaphysical fact. The I am that speaks through you, that identifies itself as your consciousness, is the same I am that created the universe and sustains it moment by moment. When you say I am, you are invoking the name of God, the creative power of the universe. And whatever you attach to that divine name, whatever state you identify, with after the sacred words I am becomes your reality, your experience, your world. This is why assumption is so powerful. When you assume a state, you are literally claiming it as your divine identity. You are saying, I am this, and the universe, which is nothing more than the externalization of consciousness, must conform to that declaration. As you come to understand this truth, not intellectually, but experientially, through the practice of these principles, you will be liberated from fear, from doubt, from the belief in limitation. You will recognize that all things are possible to you because all things are possible to the I am that you are. And in this recognition of unity, you will find the ultimate freedom. You will know that there is no power outside of you that can constrain or limit you. No authority beyond your own consciousness that determines your fate. You are the author of your experience, the creator of your reality, the architect of your destiny, the fulfillment of purpose. Why have you been given this creative power? What is its purpose? Simply this, the expansion of awareness, the evolution of consciousness, the eternal journey of the infinite becoming more of itself through the vehicle of your unique expression. You are here to fulfill a purpose that only you can fulfill, to manifest a possibility that only you can manifest, to embody an aspect of the infinite that can be expressed in just the way that you express it. This is your gift to the universe, your contribution to the ongoing creation. And as you align your individual consciousness with the universal consciousness, as you assume states that reflect the highest and best that you can conceive, you fulfill this purpose. You become a clear channel through which the infinite can express its boundless nature in fight form. This is the ultimate meaning of the scriptural injunction to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. It is a call not to flawless moral behavior as conventionally understood, but to the assumption of your divine identity, to the recognition and expression of your true nature as a vessel of infinite creative consciousness. In this assumption of your divine identity, all doors open before you without effort. The universe conspires to support your expression. The entire field of creation aligns itself with your assumed state. And you move through life not as a supplicant begging for scraps from the table of existence, but as the rightful heir to all that is, claiming your inheritance with quiet confidence and serene faith. The application in daily life. How then do you apply these principles in your daily life? How do you translate this metaphysical understanding into practical results? Let me offer some specific guidance. First, identify what you truly desire. Not what you think you should desire. Not what others expect you to desire, but what resonates with the deepest part of your being. What state of consciousness would give you the greatest joy, the most profound satisfaction, the deepest sense of fulfillment? Next, formulate a scene that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Make it short, specific, and symbolic of the state you wish to embody. It might be a congratulatory handshake, a glimpse of a bank statement, the feel of a wedding ring on your finger, the sound of applause after a presentation, or any other sensory experience that implies your wish is already fulfilled. Then, each night as you fall asleep and each morning as you wake, enter a state of relaxed state between waking and sleeping, where your conscious mind is receptive and your subconscious mind is accessible. In this state, enact your chosen scene. Experience it as vividly as possible, involving all your senses and imbuing it with genuine emotion. Throughout your day, whenever you think of your desire, remind yourself that it is already yours in consciousness. Feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled just for a moment. Then go about your business without anxiety or impatience. If doubts arise, acknowledge them without resistance. Then gently return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you interact with others, do not speak of your desire as something you hope for, wish for, or are working toward. Either speak of it as something that is already accomplished or do not speak of it at all. Remember, go and tell no man. Pay attention to the signs that your new state is beginning to externalize itself, the subtle changes in your own attitudes, the synchronicities that appear in your experience, the new opportunities that present themselves. Acknowledge these signs with gratitude, recognizing them as confirmation of the inner shift you have achieved. Above all, maintain your faith in the law of consciousness. Trust that what you have assumed must objectify itself in your world, not through your anxious effort, but through the impersonal operation of cosmic law. Rest in the assurance that as you have planted in consciousness, so shall you reap in experience. The promise fulfilled. I have shared with you tonight the secret of secrets, the principle that underlies all manifestation, the law that governs all creation. I have given you a technique so simple yet so profound that, if faithfully applied, it cannot fail to transform your life in ways you may not yet have imagined. Do this without telling anyone, and watch how doors open without effort. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Persist in that assumption despite all evidence to the contrary. And you will discover for yourself the truth of the promise. All things are possible to him that believeth. The power I speak of is not external to you. It is not a force you must supplicate or appease. It is your own wonderful human imagination, your own consciousness, your own I am-ness. It is the creative power of the universe individualized in you, waiting to be directed by your assumption. Use this power wisely, lovingly, joyfully. Use it to lift yourself from limitation to freedom, from separation to unity, from fear to love. Use it not merely to acquire things or circumstances, but to express the highest and best that you can conceive, to contribute to the welfare and awakening of all beings, to participate consciously in the eternal creative process that is the purpose and meaning of existence. Remember always that what you seek is also seeking you, that what you desire desires expression through you, that what you wish to manifest wishes to be manifested by you. There is no opposition in the universe, no resistance to your good, no denial of your rightful inheritance as a divine being in human form. The only barriers to the fulfillment of your desires are the limitations you have accepted in consciousness. Remove these barriers by assuming the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. And watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner state. This is the promise. This is the law. This is the truth that sets you free. Thank you for your attention tonight. May you go forth and apply these principles with faith, with love, with the serene confidence that comes from knowing who you truly are. May all that you desire be manifested in your experience, not through anxious striving, but through the effortless unfolding that follows right assumption. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. You are the maker of your destiny, the creator of your reality, the author of your experience. Recognize this truth, embrace this power, fulfill this promise. And now, before we close, I invite you to take a moment to enter the silence of your own being. Close your eyes if you wish, turn your attention inward, and feel the reality of who you truly are, not a limited human personality struggling against the world, but an infinite creative consciousness expressing itself in human form. Feel the power within you, the same power that created worlds, that sustains galaxies, that brings forth life in all its forms. Feel it not as something separate from you, but as the very essence of your being, the I am that constitutes your fundamental identity. From this awareness, claim your good. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You know that as you plant this seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness, it must grow and bear fruit in your experience. It cannot do otherwise, for such is the law of your being. Rest in this knowledge, abide in this faith, live from this assumption, and watch as doors open before you without effort, as mountains are removed from your path without struggle, as the universe itself conspires to bring into visible form the state you have claimed unconsciousness. This is the promise. This is the law. This is the truth. Go now in the awareness of your own divinity, in the recognition of your own creative power, in the assurance of your own inevitable good. For you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You are the embodiment of the infinite in finite form. And all things, all states, all circumstances, all experiences are yours by right of consciousness. Assume your rightful place as the creator of your reality and watch as your world transforms itself to reflect the glory of your true being. This is the secret of secrets, the truth behind all truths, the reality within all realities. Do this without telling anyone, and watch how doors open without effort. You are the operant power in your world. You and you alone are the architect of your life experiences. The world you see around you with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and challenges is but an outward reflection of your inner state of consciousness. It is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and imaginal acts. Now you might ask, but Neville, how can this be? Surely the world exists independently of my thoughts and feelings. To this I say, the world as you perceive it exists nowhere but in your consciousness. Your senses may tell you otherwise, may insist on the solidity and unchangeable nature of your circumstances, but I tell you this is an illusion, a shadow play cast by the light of your own imagination. Consider for a moment, when you dream at night, do you not experience a world that feels every bit as real as your waking life? Do you not interact with people, places, and situations that seem to exist independently of your will? And yet, upon waking, you recognize that entire world was created within your own mind. So too is it with what you call your waking reality. The great secret then is this: your imagination is the very workshop in which you forge your life experiences. Every event, every circumstance, every person in your life is there because you have imagined them into being, whether consciously or unconsciously. This is the true meaning of the biblical phrase, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But let us delve deeper into this truth. When we speak of focusing on yourself and your dreams, we are not talking about mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. No, we are speaking of a far more potent and transformative practice, the art of living from the end. To live from the end means to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It means to enter in your imagination into the state of consciousness you would occupy if your desire were already a present fact. This is not about visualizing a future event, but about experiencing here and now the reality of your fulfilled desire. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The common approach would be to focus on the process of acquiring wealth, working harder, saving more, investing wisely. But this approach keeps you rooted in the consciousness of lack, of not yet having what you desire. Instead, I urge you to ask yourself, how would I feel if I wasn't financially abundant? What would my inner conversations be like? How would I carry myself? What thoughts would occupy my mind throughout the day? Then, having identified these feelings and states of mind, your task is to assume them now low in your present reality. You see, my dear friends, the secret is not to think about your desire, but to think from the state of its fulfillment. This is the true meaning of prayer, not beseeching an external deity for favors, but aligning your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. How can I feel wealthy when my bank account tells me otherwise? To this I say, your senses show you only the effects, never the causes of your reality. By persisting in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, You are operating on the causal level of existence. And the outer world must, by law, reorganize itself to match your new inner state. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you are. And what you are, you create. This is the true meaning of the biblical injunction to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. By renewing your mind, that is, by consistently assuming the state of consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you transform your entire world. But let us be clear, this is not about escaping reality or denying your present circumstances. It is about understanding the true nature of reality as a malleable, responsive substance that conforms to your dominant mental states. It is about recognizing your power as a creative being and wielding that power consciously and deliberately. Now you might ask, how do I begin this practice of living from the end? How do I focus on myself and my dreams in this way? The answer lies in the use of your imagination, that divine gift that sets you apart as a creative being in this universe. Each night, as you lay your head upon your pillow, I want you to enter a state of relaxation. Let the cares and concerns of your day fall away. Then with your inner eye, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Engage all your senses in this imaginal act. If your desire is for a loving relationship, feel the warmth of your beloved's embrace. Hear their voice whispering words of affection. Smell their familiar scent. Make the scene as real and as natural as any memory of a natural event. If your dream is of professional success, see yourself in your ideal work environment. Feel the satisfaction of a job well done. Hear the congratulations of your colleagues. Experience the pride and fulfillment of living your purpose. Whatever your desire may be, construct a scene that implies its fulfillment. Then enter into that scene. Do not watch it as a spectator, but participate in it fully. Be there in your imagination, experiencing the joy and satisfaction of your wish fulfilled. As you fall asleep, carry this feeling with you. Let it be the last thing in your consciousness as you drift off to slumber. For in sleep, when your conscious mind is at rest, these impressions sink deep into your subconscious, the fertile soil from which all your future experiences will grow. But do not limit this practice to your nighttime reveries. Throughout your day, whenever you have a quiet moment, return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let it color your mood, influence your posture, inform your inner conversations. Remember, my friends, your inner conversations are incredibly powerful. They are the backdrop against which your life unfolds. Most people carry on these inner dialogues unconsciously, rehashing past hurts or worrying about future problems. But you, armed with this knowledge, can consciously direct your inner talking to align with your desires. If you desire health, do not engage in inner conversations about illness or weakness. Instead, hear yourself saying, I am vibrantly healthy and full of energy. If you seek financial abundance, let your inner voice declare, I am abundantly provided for in every way. These inner conversations, persistently maintained, will transform your world. For whatever you consent to in your mind, whatever you feel to be true, must outpicture itself in your reality. This is the law of your being, as unalterable as any law of physics. Now some of you may be wondering, but what about action? Surely we must do something in the outer world to realize our dreams. To this I say, inspired action will flow naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally and effortlessly taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. This is the meaning of the biblical phrase, the vision has its own appointed hour, it ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure, and it will not be late. Your only task is to hold fast to the vision. to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The how, the when, and the where of its manifestation are not your concern. Trust in the perfect unfolding of your desire, guided by a wisdom far greater than your own. Let me share with you a personal experience to illustrate this principle. Many years ago, when I first arrived in New York City, I had the burning desire to speak at town hall. Now, at that time, I was unknown, with no connections and no apparent means of realizing this dream. But instead of focusing on these seeming obstacles, I chose to live from the end. Each night, as I fell asleep, I would imagine myself standing on the stage at town hall. I felt the solid wood beneath my feet. I saw the sea of faces before me, heard the rustle of the audience, felt the satisfaction of sharing my message with eager listeners. I lived in this state, feeling it to be true, despite all evidence to the contrary in my waking hours. And then, my friends, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Within a matter of weeks, through a series of events that seemed entirely accidental, I found myself invited to speak at town hall. The very scene one had enacted in my imagination came to pass in the outer world, down to the smallest detail. This, my dear friends, is the power that lies within you. This is the creative force of your own wonderful human imagination. It is not limited by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is bound only by your capacity to believe in the reality of your imaginal acts. Now, let us address a common concern that arises when people first encounter these teachings. Many worry that by focusing on themselves and their own desires, they are being selfish or neglecting their duties to others. Nothing could be further from the truth. You see, my friends, you cannot give what you do not have. By focusing on your own growth, your own dreams, your own expansion, you are increasing your capacity to be of service to others. As you transform your own consciousness, you elevate the consciousness of all those around you. Remember the words of the Master, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." The kingdom of God is not a place in space or time, but a state of consciousness. It is the state of knowing yourself to be one with the creative power of the universe. When you seek this state first, when you prioritize the alignment of your consciousness with your desires, everything else falls naturally into place. Moreover, as you begin to experience the fruits of this practice in your own life, you become a living testament to the power of imagination. Your very being becomes an inspiration to others, showing them what is possible when one takes control of their inner world. But let me caution you, this work requires persistence and faith. You may not see immediate results in your outer world. The seed you plant in your imagination needs time to germinate and grow. During this period, you may face doubts, both from within yourself and from others. This is where the real test of your faith comes in. Can you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled even when your senses deny it? Can you remain loyal to your vision, even when the outer world seems to contradict it? This is the mark of a true master of faith. Remember the biblical story of Abraham, who was promised countless descendants when he was old and childless. Against all odds, against all evidence of his senses, he persisted in his faith. He dared to believe in the reality of that which was not yet manifest. And in due time, his faith was rewarded. So too must you persist in your imaginal acts, in your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Do not waver, do not doubt, do not give in to the temptation to judge by appearances. Hold fast to your vision, knowing that what you are conscious of being, you must become. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this practice. When you focus on yourself and your dreams in the way I am describing, you are engaging in a profound act of self-love and self-respect. You are declaring to the universe, and more importantly to your own subconscious mind, that you are worthy of your desires. This act of self-affirmation is crucial. Many people sabotage their own success because deep down, They do not believe they deserve it. They may go through the motions of pursuing their dreams, but their inner conviction tells a different story. By consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are overwriting old patterns of lack, limitation, and unworthiness with new patterns of abundance, possibility, and deservingness. This is why it's so important to make your imaginal acts as vivid and as real as possible. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. By presenting it with vivid, persistent images of your desired reality, you are training it to accept this new reality as fact. And once your subconscious accepts something as fact, it works tirelessly to bring it into manifestation. It influences your perceptions, your decisions, your actions, all to align with this new accepted reality. This is the power of your subconscious mind. And by learning to work with it rather than against it, you unlock truly limitless potential. But remember, my friends, this is not about forcing or straining. The kingdom of heaven is not taken by violence. Your imaginal acts should be playful, joyful, natural. They should feel like slipping into a comfortable, familiar state rather than an arduous exercise of will. Think of a child at play, fully immersed in their imaginary world. They do not doubt the reality of their imaginings. They do not strain to believe. They simply are what they imagine themselves to be, fully and without reservation. This is the state you must cultivate in your own imaginal work. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in this process. Surely you might think, I can't just sit around imagining all day. Don't I need to do something to make my dreams a reality? To this I say, right action will flow naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take the steps that lead to its manifestation. These actions will not feel like hard work or struggle. They will feel natural efforts, almost inevitable. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, saying the right words, making the right decisions, all as a natural outflow of your assumed state. This is the true meaning of the phrase, the signs follow. They do not precede. The outer actions are not the cause of your success, but the effect of your inner transformation. They are the shadow cast by the light of your imagination. Let me give you another example from my own life to illustrate this principle. When I first began giving lectures on these truths, I had a deep desire to reach a wider audience. I imagined myself speaking to large crowds, sharing these teachings with people from all walks of life. Now, I did not go out and frantically advertise or promote myself. I did not strain or struggle to make this happen. Instead, I lived from the end. In my imagination, I saw myself standing before packed auditoriums. I felt the joy of sharing these truths with eager listeners. I experienced the satisfaction of knowing my message was reaching and transforming lives. And then, my friends, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Opportunities began to present themselves. Invitations to speak at larger venues started to come in. People began to spread the word about my lectures. All of this happened naturally, effortlessly, as a result of my inner work. This is the power that lies within you, my dear friends. This is the creative force of your own wonderful human imagination. It is not limited by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is bound only by your capacity to believe in the reality of your imaginal acts. Now let us address another common concern that arises when people first encounter these teachings. Many worry about the ethical implications of this practice. They ask if I can imagine anything into being. What's to stop me from using this power for selfish or harmful ends? To this, I say, the very nature of this practice precludes its misuse. For when you truly enter into the state of your wish fulfilled, when you fully embody the consciousness of your desire, you are aligning yourself with the highest good. You see, my friends, at the deepest level of our being, we all desire the same things: love, joy, peace, fulfillment. When you imagine from this place of your highest self, you naturally align with these universal desires. Your imaginings become not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all. Moreover, as you practice this art of imagining, you will find your desires naturally refining themselves. What once seemed important may fall away as you connect more deeply with your true self. Your imaginings will become purer, more aligned with your highest good and the highest good of all. This is the true meaning of the phrase, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." As you align your consciousness with your highest self, with the creative power of the universe, everything else falls naturally into place. Now, my friends, I want to address a question that often arises when I share these teachings. People ask, "But Neville, what about the suffering in the world? What about those who are oppressed, impoverished, or ill? Are you saying they have imagined this for themselves?" This is a profound question, and it deserves a thoughtful answer. First, let me be clear, this teaching is not about blame or judgment. It is about empowerment. It is about recognizing the creative power that lies within each of us and learning to use it consciously. You see, most people are not aware of the power of their imagination. They do not realize that their inner assumptions and beliefs are shaping their outer reality. They are imagining unconsciously, often focusing on what they fear or what they lack, rather than on what they desire. Moreover, we are all influenced by the collective consciousness of our society, our culture, our time. Many of the limitations and sufferings we experience are the result of collectively held beliefs and assumptions. But here's the wonderful truth. Just as we have imagined these conditions into being, we can imagine something different. We can change our individual consciousness, and in doing so, contribute to changing the collective consciousness. This is the true meaning of being the change you wish to see in the world. By focusing on yourself, by imagining a better reality for yourself, you are not being selfish. You are contributing to the elevation of all humanity. You are adding your light to the sum of light. Remember, my friends, consciousness is the only reality. The world you see around you is a reflection of consciousness, both individual and collective. By changing your consciousness, by persistently imagining a better reality, you are literally changing the world. This work of imagination is not separate from practical action in the world. Rather, it informs and inspires that action. When you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. You will be guided by an inner wisdom that far surpasses mere intellect. So I urge you, my dear friends, to take up this practice with all seriousness. Make it the central focus of your life. Every night as you fall asleep, and every morning as you wake, enter into the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel it, live it, believe in it with all your heart. Throughout your day, whenever you have a quiet moment, return to this state. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it become the new normal for you. For what you persist in imagining, you must eventually experience. Remember, the time it takes for your imaginal act to become your physical reality is directly proportionate to the naturalness of the state. The more natural it feels to you, the more quickly it will manifest. This is why persistence is key. You are forming new neural pathways, new patterns of thought and feeling. In closing, I want to remind you of this fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the creative force that shapes your reality. By focusing on yourself and your dreams, by living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you are stepping into your true power as a creative being. Go forth then and create boldly. Imagine lovingly. Live fully in the consciousness of your fulfilled desires. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own life, but contributing to the transformation of all humanity. You are fulfilling your divine purpose as a co-creator in this magnificent universe. Thank you, and may your imagination guide you to the fulfillment of all your dreams. Let me tell you a great truth that most of the world has yet to comprehend. You are not what you appear to be. You are not this limited mortal being trapped in circumstances. You are all imagination, and imagination is God. Therefore, you are God in the most literal sense, temporarily occupying a garment of flesh to experience your own wonderful creation. And just as God can speak worlds into existence, you too possess this same creative power to speak your world into being. Now, I know this may seem fantastic to some of you, but I am not here to theorize or philosophize. I am here to share with you what I know to be true through my own experience and the experiences of countless others who have applied this law. The transformation you seek in 2025 is not something that will happen to you. It is something that must happen within you first. Consider this: when you go to your home tonight and prepare for sleep, you will naturally disappear from this world of Caesar. Your physical body will rest, but your consciousness, your true self, remains ever active, ever aware. This simple act of daily disappearance holds the key to your transformation. For in that state between waking and sleeping lies the most fertile soil for planting the seeds of your desires. Let me tell you exactly what I mean. When you desire to transform any aspect of your life, you must first learn to disappear from your current state of consciousness. Just as you naturally disappear from this world when you sleep, you must learn to disappear from your present concept of self. This is not a metaphor. I am speaking of an actual psychological technique that, when mastered, will transform your entire life with mathematical precision. Now let us delve deeper into this principle. The Bible, which is not a historical document but a psychological drama, tells us, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." This transformation is not something that happens gradually through external effort. It happens instantly when you succeed in disappearing from your current state of consciousness and occupying the state of your wish fulfilled. Think of it this way: right now you hold a certain concept for yourself. You may see yourself as lacking in some way, perhaps financially limited or unfulfilled in your relationships, or restricted in your career. This self-concept feels solid and real because you have given it life through your attention and belief. But I tell you, it is nothing more than a garment you have worn so long you have forgotten it. It's not your true self. The secret to transformation in 2025 lies not in adding something new to your current state, but in completely disappearing from it. You must die to your present concept of self. And this death is not a physical death, but a psychological one. It is the complete abandonment of all that you now consider yourself to be. Let me share with you a simple but powerful technique. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, instead of reviewing the day's events or worrying about tomorrow, consciously choose to disappear from your present circumstances. Feel yourself sink deeper and deeper into the awareness of being who you wish to be. Do not think of how you will become this person. That is the old way of thinking that keeps you bound to your current state. Instead, yield completely to the feeling of being your desired self. If you wish to be wealthy, feel the naturalness of wealth. If you seek perfect health, feel the lightness and vitality of a perfectly healthy body. If you desire a loving relationship, feel the warmth and security of being deeply loved. The secret is to persist in this feeling until it becomes more real to you than your physical surroundings. You see, in 2025, you are not trying to change things in the world of Caesar. You are claiming your rightful place as the operant power of your universe. The outer world, no matter how solid it appears, is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner assumptions. Change the assumption, and you change the reflection. This is the law. I am reminded of a lady who came to me in dire circumstances. She was facing financial ruin, her relationships were in shambles, and her health was failing. She asked me what she should do to change her life. I told her exactly what I'm telling you now. Disappear completely from that state. She looked at me bewildered, expecting some complex system of affirmations or external actions. But I told her, your outer world is nothing more than your inner conversations objectified. Change your inner conversation, and you change everything. She began to practice this principle. Each night before sleep, she would disappear completely from her troubled state and assume the feeling of being the person she wished to be. She would feel the satisfaction of financial abundance, the joy of harmonious relationships, the vitality of perfect health. Within 3 months, her entire world transformed. Money came to her through unexpected channels. Her relationships healed in ways she could never have planned, and her health restored itself naturally. This was not coincidence or luck. It was the perfect working of law. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, my circumstances are different. You don't understand my particular situation? I tell you, circumstances do not matter. Your current situation, no matter how desperate or seemingly permanent, is nothing more than a shadow cast by your previous assumptions. Change the assumption, and the shadow must change. In 2025, you must learn to distinguish between what Blake called the reality and its shadow. Your true reality is not what your senses show you. It is what your imagination claims it to be. The world of Caesar, with all its limitations and problems, is merely a shadow. You are the light casting that shadow, and you can change it at will by changing your conception of self. Let me give you a specific technique for this transformation. I call it the art of assumption. When you wish to transform any aspect of your life, you must first ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already the person I wish to be? Then, in that quiet moment before sleep, you must generate that feeling with all the intensity you can muster. Do not worry about the how. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to remain faithful to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The infinite intelligence within you, call it God, call it your subconscious mind, call it what you will, knows exactly how to bring about the conditions necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. Remember, in 2025, you are not trying to make things happen. You are allowing them to happen by assuming the right state of consciousness. This is why I tell you to disappear from your present state. As long as you remain mentally tied to your current circumstances, trying to improve them or fight against them, you perpetuate them. Consider the story of the prodigal son. This parable is not about a wayward youth who physically returned home. It is about consciousness returning to its rightful state. The far country where he wasted his substance is the state of consciousness where you currently find yourself if you are not experiencing your desires. The Father's house where there is abundance and joy is the state of consciousness you wish to occupy. The journey home is not a physical journey, but a psychological one. It is the journey of disappearing from one state of consciousness and appearing in another. And just as the father in the parable did not ask where the son had been or what he had done, your own wonderful human imagination does not care about your past or your present circumstances. It only responds to what you are conscious of being now. In 2025, you must learn to be ruthless with yourself in this regard. When you catch yourself thinking from your old state of consciousness, thinking thoughts of limitation or lack, you must immediately disappear from that state. Do not fight these thoughts. Fighting them gives them power. Simply withdraw your attention from them and place it fully on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is what the scripture means when it says, leave the dead to bury their dead. Your old states of consciousness, your old problems and limitations are the dead. Let them bury themselves. Your task is to occupy the new state, to live from the assumption that what you desire is already yours. Now let me share with you another vital aspect of this transformation. Your outer world is nothing more than your inner conversations objectified. What are you saying to yourself throughout the day? What mental conversations do you carry on with others? These conversations, these inner debates and discussions, are creating your future experiences. In 2025, you must become aware of these inner conversations and deliberately change them to align with your desires. If you wish to be wealthy, what kinds of conversations would you have if you were already wealthy? If you seek perfect health, what would your inner dialogue be if you were already in perfect health? Begin now to have these conversations internally. This is not pretense or self-deception. This is the actual creative process by which your world is formed. Your inner conversations are the breeding ground of your future experiences. Change the conversation and you change the experience. This is law. Remember, the Bible tells us, in the beginning was the Word. This is not referring to spoken words, but to your inner speech, your self-talk, your mental conversations. These are the words that create your world. In 2025, become conscious of these conversations and deliberately choose ones that imply the fulfillment of your desires. Let me tell you of a gentleman who came to me seeking to transform his career. He was stuck in a position he hated, feeling trapped and unable to advance. I told him to change his inner conversations about his work. Instead of mentally complaining about his current position, he began to have inner conversations implying he was already in his desired position. He would mentally hear congratulations from colleagues, discuss his new responsibilities with imaginary co-workers, feel the satisfaction of doing work he loved. Within weeks, an opportunity appeared that perfectly matched his desires. This was not coincidence, it was the law in operation. Now, some of you might be wondering about timing. You might be thinking, how long will this take? When will I see results? I tell you, time is purely psychological. What seems to take months or years in Caesar's world can happen in an instant when you succeed in reaching the right state of consciousness. In 2025, you must learn to live in the end. The end is the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you truly capture this feeling and maintain it, time dissolves. The events and circumstances necessary for the manifestation of your desire will unfold naturally and effortlessly. This is why I tell you to disappear from your present state. As long as you are conscious of time, as long as you are waiting for something to happen, you are not living in the end. You are still caught in the consciousness of absence, of wanting, of seeking. This consciousness can only create more wanting, more seeking. Instead, assume the consciousness of already being what you wish to be. Feel it so intensely that it crowds out all other thoughts and feelings. This is what it means to pray without ceasing, to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled regardless of appearances. Remember the words of Scripture before they call, I will answer. This means that the fulfillment of your desire already exists. It is not something to be created. It is something to be claimed through your assumption of the right state of consciousness. In 2025, you must learn to trust this process completely. Do not be like doubting Thomas, needing to see before you believe. Be like the Master who said, blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed. Your imagination, fed by your assumption and sustained by your inner conversations, is creating your future now. Let me give you another technique for this transformation. I call it revision. Each night before you sleep, review the events of your day. but do not review them as they occurred. Revise them to match your desired state of being. See them happening in a way that implies the fulfillment of your desires. This is not merely positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is actively engaging your creative power to reshape your world. When you revise an event, you are actually changing the seed from which future events will grow. This is why the scripture says the former things shall not be remembered or come into mind. In 2025, make revision a daily practice. If you had an unpleasant encounter, revise it to be harmonious. If you faced a financial setback, revise it to show abundance. If you experienced any lack or limitation, revise it to demonstrate fulfillment and expansion. Do this faithfully, and you will be amazed at how your world begins to transform. Remember, you are not trying to change things, you are changing yourself. When you change your concept of self, when you succeed in occupying a new state of consciousness, the outer world must change to reflect this inner transformation. This is law. Let me tell you of another success story. A woman came to me in deep depression. She had lost her job, her savings were depleted, and she felt completely worthless. I taught her this principle of revision. Each night she would revise her day to show herself as successful, prosperous, and deeply fulfilled. At first it seemed mechanical, even foolish to her, but she persisted. Within weeks, her entire world began to shift. Opportunities appeared that she could never have planned. People from her past contacted her with profitable ventures. Her bank account began to grow. Most importantly, her feeling of worthlessness disappeared completely. This transformation didn't happen because she changed things in the outer world. It happened because she successfully disappeared from her old state of consciousness and occupied a new one. The outer changes were simply the shadow adjusting to match the new light. In 2025, you must become aware of another crucial principle. Everyone in your world is yourself pushed out. Every person you encounter is simply playing the part that your consciousness has assigned them. Change your consciousness, and they must change their behavior toward you. This is why it's futile to try to change others or to blame them for your circumstances. They are simply reflecting back to you your own state of consciousness. When you successfully disappear from a state of consciousness that attracts negative experiences, the people in your world must either change their behavior or disappear from your life. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, people, circumstances, events, are simply shadows cast by your consciousness. Change the consciousness and the shadows must change. This is not theory, this is law. Let me share with you one final technique for your transformation in 2025. I call it the congratulatory scene. Select a scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. Make it a scene where someone is congratulating you on having achieved your goal. Feel the handshake, hear the words of congratulation, experience the joy of achievement. Make this scene so vivid, so real, that when you open your eyes, you will feel as though it actually happened. Do this night after night until the feeling of achievement becomes your dominant feeling. This is not visualization or positive thinking. This is entering to a state of consciousness where your desire is already fulfilled. When you succeed in making this state feel natural to you, when you can live and move and have your being in it, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner conviction. In 2025, you must learn to trust this process completely. Do not be concerned with the how. Do not try to make things happen. Simply occupy the right state of consciousness and let the infinite intelligence within you bring about the manifestation in its own perfect way. Remember, the outside world is dead, subsisting only on the life you give it through your attention and belief. Withdraw your attention from unwanted conditions. Give your full attention and allegiance to your desired state. Live from that state, think from that state, speak from that state. Your transformation in 2025 is not something that will happen to you. It is something that must happen within you. When you successfully disappear from your current state of consciousness and fully occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to transform itself accordingly. This is the law, and the law does not fail. It operates with mathematical precision. Your task is simply to apply it faithfully, persistently, until your desired state becomes your natural state. Then you will understand the truth of the statement, all things are possible to him who believes. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember this: you are all imagination. The world you experience is simply your imagination pushed out. In 2025, claim your rightful place as the operant power in your universe. Disappear completely from states of lack and limitation. Occupy fully the state of your wish fulfilled. Do this faithfully, persist in it. And I promise you, your world must transform to match your new conception of self. This is not magic, not positive thinking, not wishful dreaming. This is the law of consciousness in operation, and it never fails. Let this be your practice in 2025. Die daily to your old self, to your old concepts and limitations. Be born anew each day in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Live from that consciousness. Think from it. Speak from it. Do this, and you will experience the truth of the statement, all things work together for good to them that love God. And remember, God is your own wonderful human imagination. The transformation you seek is already complete in the imagination of God, your imagination. Your task is simply to enter into that completion, to occupy it fully, to live from it faithfully. Do this, and watch your world transform in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. For in 2025, you are not seeking to add something new to your life. You are claiming what is already yours by divine. Imagine, if you will, that your current reality is like a garment you wear. It may feel comfortable, familiar, even inevitable, but I assure you, it is no more permanent or real than the clothes on your back. You can change it just as easily as you change your attire. The secret lies in your focus, in your ability to direct your attention and consciousness. As we step into 2025, I urge you to make a profound shift in your awareness. Instead of looking outward for validation, success, or happiness, turn your gaze inward. For it is within you that the true source of all creation lies. Your outer world is but a reflection of your inner state, a mirror of your consciousness. Now you might be wondering, Neville, how can focusing on myself change my reality? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. Your consciousness, your awareness is the very substance of reality. When you change your concept of self, when you alter your inner world, the outer must conform to match this new inner conviction. You see, the world you experience is not happening to you. It is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner state. These are not random occurrences, but the outpicturing of your assumptions, your beliefs, your focus. This is why many people find themselves stuck in patterns of lack, of struggle, of not enoughness. They have unknowingly been focusing on these very states, giving their attention to what they don't want rather than what they do want. They look to the outside world to dictate their inner state, not realizing that it works in precisely the opposite way. But here's the liberating truth. You have the power to choose where you place your focus. You have the ability to consciously direct your attention, to cultivate a concept of self that aligns with your deepest desires. This, my friends, is the key to transforming your reality in 2025 and beyond. So how do we begin this process of focusing on ourselves? The first step is awareness. Become acutely conscious of where your attention currently resides. Notice how much of your mental energy is spent on external circumstances, on the opinions of others, on things beyond your control. Simply observing this without judgment is the first step towards change. Once you've become aware of your current focus, the next step is to consciously redirect it. This is where the real work begins. For the next year, I want you to make a commitment to focus primarily on your inner world, on your concept of self, on the person you wish to be. This doesn't mean you ignore your responsibilities or relationships. Rather, it means you approach them from a different perspective. Instead of allowing external circumstances to dictate your state of being, you choose your state first and then engage with the world from that chosen state. For example, if you desire success in your career, instead of focusing on the obstacles or competition, focus on embodying the state of a successful person. How would a highly successful individual in your field think? How would they carry themselves? How would they approach challenges? Assume this state in your imagination, feel its reality, and then act from this assumed state. Remember, it's not about pretending or faking it. It's about recognizing that the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. When you change your concept of self, when you focus on embodying the state of the person you wish to be, your outer world must reshape itself to match this new inner conviction. As you practice this new focus throughout 2025, you may find that your outer world begins to shift. Opportunities may arise that align with your new self-concept. People may respond to you differently. You may find yourself feeling more confident, more capable, more aligned with your desires. These changes may start small. A compliment from a colleague, a moment of unexpected clarity, a fortunate coincidence. Do not dismiss these as mere chance. They are the first fruits of your new focus taking root in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Now let us address a common challenge in this practice, the apparent contradictions of your senses. As you begin to focus on your desired self-concept, you may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your new assumptions. How do you maintain your focus in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. What you see around you is the result of past focus, past assumptions. It is like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new concept of self than to these outdated circumstances. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumptions, even when your senses argue against them. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your new focus, shows you what will be. As you persist in maintaining this new focus on yourself, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, but they will grow. For you are planting new seeds in the garden of your mind, and these seeds must by natural law grow into the fruits of your new reality. Now let us delve deeper into the nature of this self-focus. When I speak of focusing on yourself, I am not referring merely to self-improvement or acquiring new skills, though these can be part of it. I am speaking of a deeper, more comprehensive form of self-awareness and self-creation. It involves the very way you perceive yourself, the stories you tell about who you are, and what is possible for you. For example, when you achieve a success, how do you interpret it? Do you see it as a fluke? Or do you recognize it as the natural expression of your innate abilities? When you face a challenge, do you see yourself as a victim of circumstance or as a creative force capable of finding solutions? These self-perceptions shape your reality. For the year 2025, I want you to consciously craft a concept of capability, of worthiness, of unlimited potential. See yourself as the person you aspire to be. Feel the reality of being that person. Live from that state of consciousness. If you desire financial abundance, see yourself as already wealthy. How would a wealthy person think? How would they approach decisions? Embody this in your consciousness. If you desire vibrant health, see yourself as the embodiment of vitality. How would such a person care for their body? How would they think about health and wellness? Let these thoughts inform your self-concept. Remember, this is not about denying your current reality. It's about choosing which aspect of reality you give your attention to. It's about focusing on the self you wish to be rather than the self you think you are based on past experiences. As you practice this new self-focus throughout 2025, you may find that your emotions begin to shift. You may feel more positive, more hopeful, more empowered. This emotional shift is crucial, for your emotions are the fuel that powers your manifestations. When you combine your new self-concept with positive emotions, you create a powerful vibration that attracts circumstances and experiences that match it. This is the law of attraction in action, but it goes beyond mere positive thinking. It is about aligning your entire being, your thoughts, your feelings, your very sense of self, with the reality you wish to create. Now, let us address another important aspect of this practice, persistence. Changing your focus, shifting your self-concept, is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process, a new habit that you must cultivate throughout 2025. You must be vigilant. You must catch yourself when you slip into old patterns of thought and consciously choose to refocus on your desired self-concept. This persistence is crucial because your subconscious mind learns through repetition. The more consistently you focus on your desired self-concept, the more deeply it will be impressed upon your subconscious mind. And as these new patterns take root in your subconscious, they will begin to manifest in your outer world with increasing speed and ease. But what of those moments when doubt creeps in, when fear arises, when the old self-concept tries to reassert itself? These moments are inevitable, especially in the beginning of your practice. Do not be discouraged by them. Instead, see them as opportunities to strengthen your new self-concept. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Fighting against a thought only gives it more power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your new self-concept. Remind yourself that what you see around you is the past. Your new focus is creating your future. This brings us to another crucial aspect of this practice, the concept of living in the end. Living in the end means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, of already being the person you aspire to be. It's not enough to think about your desired self-concept. You must live from it, feel it as a present reality. For example, instead of saying, I will be successful, say and feel, I am successful. Everything I touch prospers. Instead of saying, I will be healthy, say and feel, I am the embodiment of vibrant health and vitality. Speak and feel as if your desired self-concept is already realized, for in the realm of your imagination it is. This may feel strange at first, even false, but remember, you are not lying to yourself. You are choosing to focus on a different aspect of reality, the reality of your imagination, which is just as real, just as valid as the reality of your physical senses. As you practice living in the end, through your new self-concept, you may find that your actions naturally align with your new assumptions. You may find yourself making decisions, taking steps that move you closer to your desires. This alignment of inner state and outer action is powerful. It creates a momentum that propels you towards the realization of your goals. Now let us explore the role of gratitude in this process of self-focus. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful for your desired self-concept, as if it were already realized, you align yourself with the frequency of its fulfillment. Throughout 2025, Make gratitude a central theme in your self-focus. Feel appreciation for the person you are becoming, for the opportunities that are unfolding, for the growth you are experiencing. Even if your current circumstances seem challenging, find aspects of your desired self to be grateful for. For gratitude, like your self-concept, shapes your perception and thus your reality. As you cultivate this attitude of gratitude in your self-focus, you may find that more things to be grateful for begin to appear in your life. This is not coincidence. It is the law of attraction at work, bringing you more of what you focus on and appreciate. Now let us address the importance of self-love in this practice of focusing on yourself. Many of us have a habit of harsh self-criticism, of focusing on our perceived flaws and shortcomings. For 2025, I challenge you to shift this focus. See yourself with the same love, the same compassion, the same unconditional acceptance that you would offer to someone you deeply care about. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, focus on your capacity for growth and learning. Say to yourself, I am constantly evolving and improving. Every experience contributes to my growth. When you face a challenge, encourage yourself. Say, I have infinite resources within me. I am capable of overcoming any obstacle. This self-love is not selfishness. It is not ego. It is recognizing your own divine nature, your own inherent worthiness. And as you focus on yourself with love and respect, you will find that the world begins to reflect this back to you. For the world is yourself pushed out, and it can only give you what you give yourself in your own consciousness. As we continue our exploration of focusing on yourself in 2025, let us consider the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not a frivolous faculty for daydreaming. It is the very workshop in which you create your reality. When you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be, when you see yourself living the life you desire, you are experiencing that reality at the level of cause. Throughout 2025, I urge you to use your imagination deliberately and consistently. Set aside time each day to see yourself vividly as the person you aspire to be. Engage all your senses in this imaginative act. See yourself in detail, hear the congratulations and admiration of the others. Feel the emotions of success and fulfillment. Make this imagined reality so vivid, so real, that when you open your eyes, you carry with you the conviction of its truth. Remember, to your subconscious mind, there is no difference between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. By repeatedly imagining your desired self-concept, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind as a reality. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant it is, will work tirelessly to bring this imagined reality into physical manifestation. Now, let's address the role of action in this process, self-focus. Some people strikingly focusing on themselves means they can simply imagine their desired reality and then sit back and wait for it to magically appear. This is not the case. Action is crucial, but it must be inspired action that flows naturally from your new self-concept. As you focus on embodying your desired state of being, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take actions that align with this new self. These actions will not feel forced or stressful. They will feel natural, even inevitable. For example, if your desired self-concept is that of a successful entrepreneur, you may find yourself naturally drawn to networking events, inspired to learn new business skills, or motivated to refine your product or service. These actions flow from your new self-concept rather than from a place of lack or struggle. This is a crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get what you desire, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having it. But when you take action from the assumption of already being your desired self, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for its expression and expansion. So in 2025, do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your new self-concept. Let your inner state guide your outer actions rather than hoping your actions will create your desired state of being. As we near the end of our discussion, let us reflect on the profound implications of this practice of focusing on yourself. By consciously choosing your self-concept, by directing your focus inward rather than outward, you are not just changing your thoughts or behaviors, you are reshaping your entire reality. You are stepping into your power as a creative being, as the author of your own life story. Remember, the world you see around you is not separate from you. It is the outpicturing of your consciousness, of your self-concept and beliefs. By changing how you see yourself, by focusing on the self you wish to be, you change the very foundation of your reality. So for 2025, be vigilant. Be conscious. Choose your self-concept with care and intention. Focus on yourself with love, with encouragement, with faith in your own divine nature and limitless potential. See yourself as already being the person you aspire to be. And as you do this, watch. Watch how your perception begins to shift. Watch how opportunities begin to arise. Watch how your reality begins to reshape itself to match your new self-concept. For this is the law of your being. What you assume and feel to be true about yourself must be reflected in your outer world. But remember, this is not about forcing change through sheer will. It is about allowing change through alignment. Alignment of your thoughts, your feelings, your very sense of self with the reality you wish to create. It is about entering into the feeling of your wish fulfilled and allowing the universe to orchestrate the means of its realization. As you embark on this year of focusing on yourself, know that you are embarking on a journey of self-discovery and self-creation. You are stepping into your power as a conscious creator of reality. You are aligning yourself with the infinite creative power of the universe. And know this, 2025 is just the beginning. It is the seed from which a new way of being can grow. As you experience the power of focusing on yourself to shape your reality, you may find this practice naturally extending beyond the year. You may find it becoming a new way of life, a new way of relating to yourself and to the world around you. So go forth with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your self-concept, of where you place your focus, for it is shaping your reality in every moment. Choose it consciously, choose it wisely. See yourself with love, with faith, with the conviction that you are a divine being capable of creating any reality you can imagine.
And remember, persistence is key. The world you see around you is the result of habitual thoughts and self-concepts. As you persist in your new focus on yourself, as you consistently embody your desired state of being, your world must reshape itself to match this new inner reality.
You have within you the power to create the life you desire. You are limited only by your ability to imagine and to feel the reality of your desired self. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound mastery of your creative consciousness. Thank you, and may your journey of self-focus in 2025 be filled with joy, wonder, and the thrill of manifesting your deepest desires. As we conclude, let us reflect on the transformative power of focusing on yourself. This practice is not about selfishness or isolation, but about recognizing that you are the center of your universe, the creator of your reality. By directing your attention inward, by consciously shaping your self-concept, you set in motion a chain of events that will reshape your entire world. Remember, every great change in the outer world begins with a change in your inner world. As you focus on embodying your desired state of being throughout 2025, You may face challenges and doubts. These are not obstacles, but opportunities to strengthen your new self-concept. Embrace them with the knowledge that each challenge overcome is a step closer to the full realization of your desired reality. In your journey of self-focus, be patient with yourself. Change does not always happen overnight. Just as a seed needs time to grow into a mighty tree, your new self-concept needs time to fully manifest in your outer world. Trust in the process, have faith in the law of your being, and know that as you persist in your new focus, your reality must conform to it. As you move through 2025, let every experience, every interaction, every moment be an opportunity to reinforce your new self-concept. See everything as a reflection of your inner state and use it to deepen your conviction in your desired reality. Remember, the outer world is not the cause of your experience, but the effect of your consciousness. In closing, I urge you to approach this practice of self-focus with joy and excitement. You are embarking on the greatest adventure possible, the journey of self-creation. Enjoy the process of becoming the person you aspire to be. Revel in the power of your imagination to shape your reality. Celebrate each manifestation, each synchronicity, as confirmation of your creative power. Go forth into 2025 with the knowledge that you are the author of your life story. Focus on writing a story of joy, of success, of fulfillment. For as you do, you not only transform your own life, but contribute to the elevation of all consciousness. Your self-realization is a gift to the world. May your focus in 2025 reveal to you the infinite potential that lies within you. And may you use this potential to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Remember, the only limits that exist are those you accept in your own consciousness. So focus on transcending all limits, on embodying your highest self, and watch as your world transforms to reflect the magnificence of your true being. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the threshold of a new life, a life so vibrant, so filled with purpose and joy that it seems almost unreal. Yet here you are, poised to step into this magnificent reality. This very moment, as you listen to these words, is the pivot point upon which your entire existence is about to turn. You may ask, how can this be? How can a simple video, a collection of words and images, herald such a profound transformation in my life? The answer, my dear listeners, lies not in the video itself, but in the power that resides within you, a power so vast, so limitless, that it can reshape the very fabric of your reality. Consider this: every great change, every monumental shift in the course of human history began with a single thought. A thought that took root in the fertile soil of imagination, nurtured by the unwavering belief of its thinker. This video, this message, is that seed of thought for you. It has found you at precisely the right moment, when you are ready to embrace the extraordinary potential that has always existed within you. Let us delve deeper into this concept. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very essence of your being, all these are but reflections of your inner state. They are the manifestations of your deepest beliefs and assumptions about yourself in the world. And just as a mirror faithfully reflects whatever stands before it, your outer world reflects the state of your inner world. Now imagine for a moment that you could change that inner world, that you could, through the power of your imagination and the strength of your belief, reshape your inner landscape. What would happen then? Inevitably, inexorably, your outer world would begin to shift, to realign itself with this new inner reality. This, my friends, is the great secret that has been hidden in plain sight throughout the ages. The sages and mystics of every culture have spoken of it, often in veiled terms. But today, we shall speak plainly, for the time for obscurity has passed. You are creators, each and every one of you. Creators not just of art or music or literature, but of your very lives, of the world you inhabit. But how, you may ask, can we harness this creative power? How can we shape our inner world with such precision and potency that our outer world has no choice but to conform? The answer lies in a practice so simple, yet so profound, that its true power is often overlooked. Imagination, my dear listeners, is the workshop in which you forge your future. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine a scene, feeling it to be real, experiencing it with all your senses, you are not merely daydreaming. You are engaging in the most powerful creative act possible. For in that moment of imagining, you are stepping into a state of being. You are, in essence, becoming the person who has already achieved, already experienced, already become what you desire. And here's the crux of the matter. The outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match this new state of being. Think of it this way. If you were to wake up tomorrow morning as a person of great wealth, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? Now, can you see that by assuming that state, by living from that place of abundance and security, you are setting in motion the very forces that will bring that reality into your physical experience? This is not mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is a fundamental law of consciousness, as real and immutable as the law of gravity. Just as an apple must fall when released from your hand, so must your outer world conform to your inner state of being. But let us be clear, this power comes with great responsibility. For if you can create the life of your dreams through the power of your imagination, then you must also acknowledge that the life you currently lead is of your own making. Every circumstance, every relationship, every success or failure is a reflection of your past assumptions and beliefs. This realization can be sobering, even frightening. But it is also incredibly liberating. For if you have created your current reality, then you have the power to create a new one. The past does not determine your future, your imagination does. Now, some of you may be thinking, but I tried positive thinking before. I visualized and affirmed, and nothing changed. To you, I say this, the power lies not in the technique, but in the feeling. It is not enough to merely picture what you want. You must feel it to be real here and now. You must live from the state of its fulfillment. Imagine a man who desires financial abundance. He may visualize himself with great wealth. But if he continues to feel poor, to live in a state of lack and limitation, his outer world will continue to reflect that inner poverty. But if he can assume the feeling of wealth, if he can live from that state of abundance, not in some imagined future, but right here and now, then the outer world must by law begin to reflect that inner richness. This is the art of living from the end. It is the practice of experiencing your desire as an accomplished fact, of making your future dream your present fact. When you master this art, you hold in your hands the key to unlocking every door, to achieving every goal, to becoming every version of yourself you ever dreamed of being. But let us not mistake this for some sort of magical thinking. The outer world does not change overnight. The seed planted in the soil does not become a mighty oak in a day. There is a season for all things, a natural gestation period for every desire. Your task is not to make things happen, but to maintain that inner state of fulfillment, to nurture that seed with your unwavering belief and your consistent assumption of its reality. The how and of its manifestation are not your concern. Your only responsibility is to live your end to be in imagination what you wish to be in reality. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in all of this. After all, surely we cannot simply sit back and wait for our desires to manifest. You are right to ask this question, for action does indeed play a crucial role. But it is not the frantic, desperate action of someone trying to make things happen. Rather, it is the inspired action that naturally flows from your new state of being. When you truly live from the state of your fulfilled desire, you will find yourself naturally drawn to take actions that align with that state. Opportunities will present themselves, ideas will come to you, and you will act upon them not out of a sense of lack or need, but from a place of calm assurance and inner knowing. This is the difference between creating and making. Where you try to make things happen, you are operating from a place of absence, of not having. But when you create from the state of already being or having, your actions are imbued with a different energy altogether. They become effortless, joyful expressions of your inner state, rather than strained attempts to change your outer world. Let us take a moment to truly absorb the magnitude of what we are discussing here. We are talking about nothing less than your ability to completely reshape your life, to step into a new reality of your own choosing. This video has found you at this precise moment because you are ready for this transformation. The very fact that you are hearing these words is proof that you have called this knowledge into your life. But knowledge alone is not enough. It must be applied, must be lived to have any real power. So I challenge you right here and now to choose a desire, something you wish to be, do, or have. Close your eyes for a moment and step into the feeling of that desire fulfilled. Experience it with all your senses. Feel the emotions you would feel if it were already your reality. Now open your eyes. The world around you may look the same, but I assure you it is not. For in that moment of imaginative power, you have set in motion forces beyond your current comprehension. You have planted a seed in the fertile soil of infinite possibility, and that seed must grow. Your task now is to water that seed with your continued assumption of its reality. When doubts arise, and they will, gently return to that feeling of your desire fulfilled. When the outer world seems to contradict your inner knowing, stand firm in your conviction. For the outer is but a shadow, a reflection of past beliefs. Your new assumption, held with unwavering faith, will inevitably reshape that outer world. Remember, the universe is plastic to your deepest, most consistently held beliefs. It has no choice but to mold itself to your inner convictions. This is not something you need to force or struggle with. It is the natural, effortless operation of universal law. As you begin to live from this new understanding, you will notice changes in your life. They may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new spring in your step, a sense of quiet confidence that wasn't there before. Embrace these changes, for they are the first fruits of your new way of being. Gradually, you will see larger shifts. Circumstances will align in ways you couldn't have planned. People will enter your life who resonate with your new frequency. Opportunities will present themselves that perfectly match your deepest desires. And through it all, you will know with unshakable certainty that you are the creator of it all. This, my dear friends, is the true meaning of living a life of power and purpose. It is not about controlling the outer world or bending others to your will. It is about mastering your inner world, about becoming so aligned with your deepest desires that the outer world naturally conforms to your inner vision. As we continue on this journey of exploration and revelation, I want you to understand that what we are discussing here is not some new age fantasy or feel-good philosophy. This is the very mechanism by which reality operates. It is the underlying principle that governs the unfolding of all existence. Think for a moment about the world around you. Every man-made object you see, the buildings, the vehicles, the devices in your hands, began as a thought, an imaginal act. Someone somewhere held in their mind a vision of these things before they came into physical being. Your ability to create is no different. The only distinction is in the medium. Instead of steel and concrete, you are molding the very substance of reality itself. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of this power. You may be thinking, if I am responsible for creating my reality, then why have I created circumstances I don't desire? This is a natural and important question to ask. The answer lies in understanding the nature of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious does not distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply accepts as true whatever you consistently impress upon it, whether through your habitual thoughts, your emotional states, or your deeply held beliefs. Many of us have spent years, even decades, impressing upon our subconscious mind's limitations, fears, and doubts. Is it any wonder, then, that our lives reflect these impressions? But here's the liberating truth. Just as you have impressed these limiting beliefs upon your subconscious, you can impress new, empowering beliefs. You can overwrite the old programming with a new vision of yourself and your life. This is the very essence of the transformation we are discussing. The technique is simple, but its consistent application requires dedication and persistence. Each night as you drift off to sleep, enter into a state akin to sleep but still conscious. In this drowsy, receptive state, imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment that would accompany the realization of your dream. As you fall asleep in this state, you are impressing this new reality upon your subconscious mind. You are planting the seed of your new life in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. Do this night after night, and you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Your subconscious mind, operating below the level of your conscious awareness, will begin to reshape your reality to match this new impression. But remember, this is not a one-time event. Just as you wouldn't plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check its progress, you must have faith in the unseen processes that are at work. Your only task is to persist in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, to live each day from the state of already being what you desire to be. Now let's address another question that may be arising in your minds. What about other people? Don't they have their own free will? How can my imagination influence them? This is a profound question, and it strikes at the heart of our understanding of reality. The truth is, what you perceive as other people are in your world playing the parts that you have assigned to them. This doesn't mean they don't have free will in their own realities, but in your experience, they will conform to your assumptions about them. If you consistently assume that people are kind and helpful, you will find your world filled with kind and helpful people. If you assume the opposite, that is what you will experience. This understanding places a great responsibility on your shoulders. For if everyone in your world is playing a part based on your assumptions, then it is up to you to cast them in the roles you wish them to play. See the best in others, assume the best of them, and they will rise to meet your expectations. But what of global events, you may ask? How can my imagination influence the larger world? Again, we must return to the fundamental truth. Your experience of the world is a reflection of your inner state. As you change your inner world, your perception and experience of the outer world will change. This doesn't mean you should ignore the challenges facing our world. But it does mean that the most powerful way to create positive change is to embody that change within yourself. Be the peace you wish to see in the world. Live from a state of abundance, and you will see abundance reflected back to you. As more and more individuals awaken to this truth and begin living from empowered states of being, we will see a collective shift in our shared reality. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be feeling at this point. You may be excited by these ideas, inspired by the possibilities they present, but you may also be feeling a sense of doubt. Can it really be this simple? You may be asking. If this is true, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer, my friends, is that while the principle is indeed simple, its application requires a fundamental shift in how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. It requires us to let go of many deeply ingrained beliefs and habits of thought. It asks us to take complete responsibility for our lives, to step into our power as creators. This can be a daunting prospect. Many people, when confronted with this truth, shrink back from it. They find comfort in the familiar, even if the familiar is not what they truly desire. But you, my dear listeners, are different. The very fact that this video has found you, that you are hearing these words, is proof that you are ready for this transformation. You are ready to step into your power as a conscious creator. You are ready to take control of your inner world, and by doing so, reshape your outer reality. This is why your life is about to change. This is why you find yourself at this pivotal moment, poised on the brink of a new way of being. But let me be clear, this is not about gaining power over others or manipulating the world to serve your ego. This is about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, about becoming a channel through which the infinite expresses itself. It's about living a life of purpose, of joy, of fulfillment, not just for yourself, but as an inspiration and a blessing to all those around you. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 30 days, commit yourself fully to this practice. Choose one desire, one change you wish to see in your life. Each night as you fall asleep, imagine it as vividly as you can. Feel it as real. Leave each day from the state of its fulfillment. Do this consistently, persistently, and with unwavering faith. Don't worry about the how or the when. Your only task is to live from the end, to be in imagination what you wish to be in reality. The universe will take care of the rest. At the end of those 30 days, reflect on your experience. Notice the changes, both subtle and profound, that have occurred in your life. Pay attention to the shifts in your perception, in your emotional state, in the way you interact with the world around you. This, my friends, is just the beginning. As you master this practice, as you become more and more aligned with your true creative power, you will find yourself capable of transforming not just your individual circumstances, but of contributing to the transformation of our collective reality. Remember, the world is waiting for you to awaken to your true power. It is longing for you to step into the fullness of who you truly are. For as you liberate yourself, as you begin to live from a place of joy, abundance, and love, you liberate those around you. You become a living example of what is possible, a beacon of hope and inspiration in a world that so desperately needs it. So go forth, my dear friends, with this newfound knowledge. Let it sink deep into your being. Let it inform every thought, every action, every moment of your day. Know that as you do so, you are setting in motion forces that will reshape your entire existence. Your life is about to change, not because of external circumstances, but because you are awakening to the immense power that has always resided within you. This video, these words have found you at precisely the right moment when you are ready to embrace this truth and step into your role as the conscious creator of your reality. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the understanding that your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and use it with love. Remember that what you imagine and feel to be real must, by universal law, become your reality. This is not wishful thinking, but the very mechanism by which all of creation operates. In the coming days and weeks, you will begin to notice changes in your life. They may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new opportunity presenting itself, a fortuitous encounter. Embrace these changes, for they are the first fruits of your new way of being. They are confirmation that you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. But do not stop there. As you see these initial changes manifesting in your life, let them fuel your faith and strengthen your resolve. Continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. For remember, the outer is but a shadow of your past beliefs. Your new assumptions, held with unwavering faith, will inevitably reshape that outer world. Finally, my dear friends, know that this journey you are embarking upon is not just for your own benefit. As you transform your own life, you become a beacon of hope and inspiration for others. You demonstrate what is possible when one awakens to their true nature as a creative force in the universe. And in doing so, you contribute to the elevation of all humanity. So go forth with courage, with faith, and with the unshakable knowledge that the life of your dreams is not just possible, it is inevitable. For you are the operant power, the author of your destiny, the creator of your reality. Your life is about to change because you have chosen to change it. Embrace this power and watch in awe as the world transforms before your eyes.